So in this eye, you can see quite a bit of lymph stagnation. When you see it yellow, orange color like this is sulfur candida. Okay, so this needs to be addressed. You can also see the very thick dark ring going around the eye. That's called a skin ring. Indicates you're not sweating properly, that your thyroid is weak. Also indicates that your kidneys are not filtering out waste properly. So the lymphatic system is backing up. The skin tries to take the burden from the kidneys, but there's not efficient, so you have this backing up of waste. That purple hue going around the pupil, that's called cholesterol ring. Indicates that your body is producing cholesterol to fight metabolic waste, because you cannot get rid of it effectively through the kidneys. That dark line going around the pupil is called a malabsorption ring. Indicates you're malabsorbed. You're not absorbing nutrients as you should be due to mucus plaque in the small intestines. Those fine lines leaching out of the pupil is called radii solaris. Indicates toxic tunnels of waste leaching out to other body parts and glands. You gotta clean it out using the bowel cleanser and the bowel strength tincture. You have fine lines going around the eye. Those called nerve rings. Indicates that you have weakened nervous system due to weak adrenals. If you look closely around the bowels, the line going around the bowel, that's called autonomic nerve wreath. Indicates that you have a weak digestive system due to weak adrenals. The adrenals control peristalsis and other functions, automatic nerve movements. So right here is the ascending colon, here's the transverse colon, here's the descending colon. You can see the bowels are quite chronic. They're darker color and they are quite spastic, going in and out. Okay, so you need to clean this up with the bowel cleanser and the bowel strength tincture. The brain section right here is also congested with lymph as well. Okay, use the neurological tincture. The top part here is the hair and scalp region, also congested as well. If you look at the sclera, the white, you see a lot of red blood vessels, indicates high acidosis in line with the cholesterol ring. Okay, so this needs to be cleaned up. The pupil is quite small, so this indicates nervous tension. So you need to address it by working on the adrenals. There's white dots going around. You can see them faintly. Okay, this is called lymphatic rosary. Indicates your lymph nodes are stagnant or moving to the swollen side, and this needs to be cleaned up. Okay, so look closely. There's the purple hue going around the eye as well. That's called cholesterol ring. Okay, so you have body is highly acidic and need to detox the fruits and herbs. Right here, that dark line right here is the life force side of the brain. This shows how much energy you have as a life force. This section right here is the pituitary gland. A subacute level of lymph stagnation indicates that it's to the weaker side. You want to fix it by using endocrine tincture and the neurological tincture, because the pituitary gland is the gland that controls all the other endocrine glands. And when it's weak, the other glands are going to be weak as well. So use the endocrine tincture and the neurological. Right here, this section right here is the pineal gland. This affects sleep and hormone regulation. If you don't fix it, you're going to have insomnia. If you do have sleep issues right now, you can use the sleep tincture on our website to help you get relief. Right here is where the forehead is right beside the pineal gland. So also shows some congestion as well. You want to use circulation tincture to boost blood flow to this region. And right here is where the eye, upper jaw, nose, and tongue regions are located. Okay, you can see the sinuses, they're quite congested with lymph, so it's quite extensive. The sinuses are important to keep clean because obviously the head houses the brain, the ears, the eyes, nose, and the important endocrine glands. So you don't want it to be congested with lymph. So take steps to clean it out. Use the neurological tincture, the circulation tincture, but also you can use a steam inhalation with eucalyptus oil or peppermint oil. You can do neti pot with essential oils. You can also do eye washes and ear candling, chew horseradish root, anything you can do to help break the mucus congestion, like in the sinuses. This will give you relief. Okay, and this section right here is where the thyroid is located. You can see it's quite chronic as well. And the thyroid is responsible for metabolic rate as well as sweating, and it's the weakest side as determined by this skin ring. So you want to address it. Use the thyroid lift tincture. And above the thyroid right here, okay, is where the tonsils are located. The tonsils are quite congested with lymph as well. Tonsils cleans the head of acids. Okay, metabolic acids from the head region is cleaned by the tonsils, and it's then sent to the kidneys to be eliminated. So you want it in good working order. Use the endocrine tincture and the neurological tincture. And beside the thyroid right here is where the parathyroid is located. This deals with calcium utilization. Okay, and calcium utilization is responsible for tissue integrity. So when you have varicose veins, spider veins, bruising, depression, wrinkles, all this due to weak parathyroid, and you want to address that by using endocrine tincture. And right here is where the voice box is located. Okay, you can see it's to the chronic side. Okay, and below it is the esophagus, and here's the scapula. You can see they're quite congested with lymph. Use the respiratory T and the respiratory 1 tincture. When you see a dark spot like that, okay, it usually indicates lymph stagnation. Okay, to the chronic level. That means a lack of energy flow in and out of the cell. Okay, it also could be potential an injury, but it's located in the esophagus region. Right here is where the upper back is located, the middle back region, and the lower back region is located. You can see they're all congested. You see that dark spot right there? The spine runs across here, right here. So it's congested with lymph. You want to deal with that by using circulation tinctures and using herbs and fruit diet. As I mentioned, right here is where the lower back is located, but the bladder is right beside. Okay, the lower back and the bladder are kind of interconnected because they're close to the kidneys. When the kidneys are not filtering out waste, the bladder and the lower back will tend to have congestion, and this can be lower back pains, etc. Could lead to that and bladder congestion. So fix the kidneys, and you'll be able to fix the bladder and the lower back. So right here is where the vagina and uterus is located. In a male, this will be the penis and prostate region. You can see this congestion there. In the male, use the prostate formula. In the female, use the female reproductive formula called reproductive F formula to strengthen these parts. Okay, and that dark line that going right here, that hits the kidneys. Okay, you can see there's quite a congestion in the kidneys. That dark line you see right there, that's the kidneys. Okay, you can see, and the kidneys are chronic. So you want to use a kidney tincture and a kidney tea. If the kidneys don't filter out waste, you're going to have the lymph stagnation. You see that backing up of the waste. Okay, that's lymph stagnation, and that's because kidneys are not filtering out waste. And here are the adrenals. See how chronic they are. Use an adrenal tincture. Adrenal controls the kidneys. Adrenal control inflammation. Fighting of inflammation. Adrenals control autonomic nerve movements. The adrenals control the kidneys. The adrenals also control the nervous system. Okay, and they produce neurotransmitters that control movement. You can see clearly that you have an autonomic nerve reed. That line going around the bowels, okay, indicates a weak digestion, and it's called the autonomic nerve wreath. So you want to fix that by fixing the adrenals. Also the nerve rings, the rings that are going around the eye, those are called nerve rings. Indicates you have a weak adrenals as well. So that needs to be fixed. Okay, use an adrenal tincture to strengthen it. If you look closely, there are rings going around as I mentioned. Those are called nerve rings. Okay, it's very important you understand that nerve rings are controlled or show a weak nervous system, and just due to weak adrenals. And right here is where the left foot, knee, and thigh region is located as well, close to the kidneys. Okay, you can see it's congested as well. Use a lower circulation tincture to boost blood flow to this region. And right here is where the groin, okay, the abdominal wall, and the pelvis region are located. So congested lymph. Okay, and right here is where the testes and ovaries are located. Testes for a male, ovaries for a female, and here the pancreas. For the region I just spoke of the pelvis, groin, and abdominal wall, you want to use a lower circulation tincture to boost blood flow to this region. For the testes and ovary section, you want to make use of prostate formula for a male and the female reproductive formula for a female. Okay, for the pancreas, you want to use pancreas and liver formula, liver and pancreas formula. That helps address the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder as well. And right here is where the diaphragm is located and the spleen close beside it. Okay, you can see the compromised subacute lymph stagnation. When you see the yellow color there, okay, it's strengthening the spleen with lymphatic spleen tincture. The spleen is what cleans the blood, so it's important it's good working order. And right beside it, right here, is the left arm and hand region, also congested lymph. Again, the circulation tinctures will help you address that. So this section right here is where the chest, ribs, and thorax region are located. Okay, you can see it's quite chronic. You see that dot here that hits the rib section. So you want to use a respiratory T and a respiratory 1 tincture to help strengthen these parts. Right here is where the breast is located as well, also congested as well. So again, circulation tinctures will help you. This section here is the upper and lower lung region. You can see it's congested lymph as well. Again, use respiratory T and respiratory 1 tincture to help address this. And right here is where the shoulders, neck, and the ear regions are located as well, also congested lymph as well. Again, circulation tinctures, also addressing the kidneys and adrenals and lymphatic system, plus 100% fluid that will help you clear it up. And right here is where the mastoid and medulla regions are located, as well as cerebellum, okay, and the epileptic center of the brain. These mastoid and medulla deal with the balancing, equilibrium, and dizziness, etc. If you don't fix it, this is what you experience. Cerebellum is the main hard drive of the brain. It's what sends information from the brain to the rest of the body. So you want to, in good working order, I'll use neurological tincture and endocrine tincture to help strengthen these parts. And that dark line right there hits the hypothalamus. Okay, when the hypothalamus is compromised, you're going to have issues with your thyroid, number one, because it controls the thyroid, but it also deals with sensory information from the outside world to the brain. It also deals with thirst and hunger. So you want a good working order. Use the endocrine tincture and the neurological tincture to strengthen these parts. Okay, so overall, this eye, it's very obvious, it's the yellow-orange color. That's sulfa and candida. So you have potential sulfa and candida. You need to use antimicrobial tincture or parasite C. Okay, and do some deworming with the parasite W for the worms. But the bowels are very pressed, and there's a malabsorption ring around the pupil, as I mentioned. This means that you're not absorbing nutrients properly, so use the bowel cleanser to cleanse it up. You need I would be on a 20-day dark monitor to start to help kickstart this, because it's quite deep. It's going to take a bit of time to clear up as well, okay, because it's quite congested. And this sclera shows a lot of high inflammation as well. The red blood vessels shows high inflammation. This needs to be cleaned up as well, okay. So I mean, give it a little bit of time, and you're going to see great improvements as you go along.